You're standing outside a cinema, one ticket in your hand, and for just a moment, you think about turning around. Not because you don't want to see the film, because you're about to walk in alone, and something in you says, don't. What is that voice? Where does it come from? And what does it cost you every single time you listen to it? The last time I bought a single movie ticket, the cashier looked at me for half a second longer than necessary. Just one? Just one. That half second of silence almost made me turn around and go home. It shouldn't have, but it almost did. I went in anyway. The lobby felt loud in a way lobbies never had before. Couples, groups, families. And me, standing in line, phone already out, scrolling nothing. I wasn't reading anything. I wasn't looking at anything. I was wearing the phone like a costume. I'm busy. I have a reason to be here. Don't look at me. I found my seat in the dark, heart moving a little faster than it should have. And then the lights went down, and something happened that I did not expect. But first, let me tell you something. Psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky ran a simple experiment. They asked students to walk into a room full of peers wearing an embarrassing t-shirt. Before entering, each student predicted how many people would notice them. They were wrong by double. The room wasn't watching them. The room was too busy worrying about being watched itself. This is the spotlight effect, the unshakable belief that a beam of light is tracking your every move in public, that strangers are registering your solitude, cataloging it, judging it. They are not. Every person in that lobby is the protagonist of their own silent performance. Everyone is carrying their own spotlight. The one shining on you, you built it yourself. Now here's where it gets deeper. Jean-Paul Sartre said something that sounds extreme, until you feel it inside a cinema. The moment someone looks at you, you stop being free. You become an object in their universe. You begin to perform. Think about the last film you watched with someone. Did you laugh slightly louder than you needed to? Did you hold back a tear? Did you check, even once, how they were reacting before deciding how you felt? I used to go to the movies with people and think I was watching the film. I wasn't. Half my attention was always drifting sideways. Did they like that scene? Should I laugh now? Is this as good as I think it is, or am I wrong? I didn't know it then, but I was never really in the room. I was performing being in the room. Sartre called this being for others, the version of yourself that exists only to be witnessed. Solo, in the dark, that version dissolves. No gaze, no editing, no performance. You just feel the film. Psychologist Mihaly spent decades studying peak human experience, those rare states of total absorption where time disappears and the self goes quiet. He called it flow. He found it requires one condition above everything else: undivided psychic energy. You cannot enter flow while monitoring someone else's face. But here's a question worth sitting with. If solitude is so valuable, why does it feel like a violation? In Japan, there's a word, ohitori-sama. It translates, respectfully, to the honorable party of one. They built karaoke booths for a single voice. Ramen counters with private partitions, unhurried, alone, unjudged. Entire industries redesigned around the solo human being, not as an exception, as a standard. The quiet shame we feel buying a single movie ticket? It doesn't exist there, which tells you something important. The discomfort isn't biological. It's not wired into you. It was installed by a culture that decided shared experience is valid experience, and everything else requires a justification. Researcher Rebecca Hamilton proved this clinically. People consistently predicted they wouldn't enjoy enough a movie, a meal, a museum when they're alone. When they actually went, their enjoyment was identical. The suffering was entirely in the anticipation, a tax paid to a phantom audience that never showed up. Pascal wrote this in the 17th century. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. The cinema, in the dark, is that room. Roger Ebert called film the most powerful empathy machine ever built. A place where you can live someone else's life entirely. But here's the part no one says out loud. The machine works better when you're alone. Because to fully become someone else, you first have to stop performing yourself. That's what the dark gives you, not loneliness, permission. I walked out of that cinema differently than I walked in, not because of the film, because I had just spent 2 hours not managing how I appeared to anyone. And I had forgotten completely what that felt like. Psychiatrist Anthony Storr spent his career arguing against the idea that human beings are only valid when observed. His conclusion was simple and devastating. The capacity to be alone is not a symptom of weakness. It is the foundation of everything else. People who find peace in solitude have learned something quietly profound. That experience doesn't need a witness to be real. That your laughter in an empty row still counts. That joy doesn't require an audience to confirm it happened. They've learned, usually the hard way, to be their own proof. So here's the question I want to leave with you. How many things have you not done? Films you haven't seen, meals you haven't eaten, places you haven't gone, because no one was available to come with you. And what version of your life are you living instead? The first time you enjoy something alone, really enjoy it, you realize something that will quietly change you. You were always enough company.